What do you think of it?
Cool.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. The intro. We're on the
That's awesome.
Villains Network in case anybody hasn't figured that out, and we have been for the last three or a couple show about last three shows, and the technical difficulties have really set us back. But hey, it looks like we're working in full tonight, and everything's going to be good. I forgot to have my pictures uploaded that I wanted and graphics that I wanted for today, but that's fine. We get by without them tonight. It's a learning process.
We'll be good.
Yeah. Okay, before we get started, I got to take care of business. Guys, please hit your subscribe button if you haven't already. We picked up, I think, about 3 or 4 more subscribers this week. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Seems like we gain a few every week or every show. I appreciate that. Hit the like button so that the algorithm will. So when people go searching for Hawkeyes, they find this show in the feed with all the other Hawkeye stuff that's out there, and so that will help. And most importantly, share this with your friends. Okay.
Right?
Maybe the Michigan State fans will get a kick out of this one today if you share this
They
to your
might.
Michigan State fans.
They
That was a
might.
big. So let's get into it. That was a big win for Michigan State today. They are and were and a lot more talented than I would have given them credit for at the beginning of the season. The two girls, number 40, and I can't remember the name of the other little girl with the short
Mhm.
hair. They were very dangerous today, and just seemed like
Absolutely.
everything they touched was gold.
Hammond as
Huh?
well.
Yeah, I
Hammond
think
at the
is that
end.
the one I was thinking of?
I think Hammond, yeah, for Michigan State, who came in and just started tossing it up and everything went in.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah.
And
I think that was her. Yeah,
Van Sleuth or something like that. I think it was Van Sleuth. I mean, they were just, yeah, out of
yeah.
nowhere.
Well, Iowa kind of hung in there for a while. Actually had a 9-point lead at one point. I believe was that 9-point lead in the fourth quarter with a chance to go up by 11, and then we turned it over and things fell apart.
Yeah, and then they started jumping on us with the press break or with the press. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, and I
Yes.
believe, if I'm not mistaken, the last 8 minutes of the game, I think we scored 2 points from the field, and the rest of the points came from the free throw line, which weren't very many.
Right. Our free throws have been lacking lately, and I yell at the TV every time it happens. Practice your free throws, ladies. Come on. They're free.
Yeah,
The only one against you is yourself on a free throw.
yeah.
Come on now.
I think if Lucy could have done her usual stuff, I think they
Yeah.
could have won this game. I
Yeah.
think they really held Lucy in check today, and
Yeah.
there's at one point they said in the graphic she started 0 for 4, 4 for 5, and then 0 for 4 again. And I don't
Yeah.
think she scored except for free throws again after that graphic. So I think they jinxed her.
I do too. I do too. And I noticed I really think there's it's still early in the season and they're not finding that flow around her.
Hmm.
Because you notice they are changing up the lineup a little bit. You're seeing more of our
Yeah.
freshmen that are in there.
Hmm.
And then McCabe came in and she hit some good for threes. You saw
Hmm.
that couple that was great, but they're still trying to find that rhythm.
Yeah.
So they did that before though. Somebody's just got to call them out because they called them out last year with Caitlin and said the
Hmm.
only player on that team is Caitlin Clark,
Hmm.
and it set a fire under their butts. So somebody needs to call them out
Yeah.
so then they can get that fire set under their butts and start
Yeah.
playing.
Well, and I think the other thing too was the foul trouble that Sydney got into.
Yeah, it was bad. Those were,
Yeah,
mm.
and so she couldn't be as aggressive as she usually is. But
And she
but
was
one
missing a
thing I
lot of
noticed,
easy shots.
they called fouls both ways,
Hmm.
but it just seemed like they missed calling some important fouls today.
Yeah,
You know,
it
and
was
then
another one of those like like those kind of games. Like they just get started and then boom, they call a silly foul, and it's
yeah.
like,
Well, and I think there's one that they might have called on Hannah, number 40. I can't remember her name, but boy, she'll ever be ingrained in my head. But she she went up to block. I think Hannah shot, and she had both feet off the ground and was leaning into Hannah. but they called Hannah for the foul, offensive foul.
Oh, that's crazy. I didn't see that one. I must have been going to the bathroom on that one. That's crazy.
Could have been. It could have been.
What?
I
Oh
got to
my
be honest.
gosh.
I should have been in church and paying more attention, but I had it on my phone watching in church this morning because we taped the services taped. So I promised God if he let me and win this game, I would go watch it on YouTube later. The service that I wasn't paying attention to today.
It's okay.
I just felt like if we lost this game, this was going to be a hard game for me to watch on replay, so I could actually do this today.
It is tough. It's really tough to, it felt like their momentum was going their way and that we had the game won,
Mm-hmm.
and then it just fell apart.
Yeah. Just like the Tennessee game. I mean, even though we were turning the ball over so much, we were in control of that game, and then that one just last 5 minutes or so of the game just fell apart.
Yeah.
I'm
still I think there's still some things they got to put together. I mean, you've got those freshmen that are coming in. You still got Jan learning her ways as a head coach, right?
Mm-hmm.
You just do. I mean, it's just different. It's different from an assistant to a head.
Okay. Well, then you got Aaliyah Guyton, who's a freshman, 80% three-point shooter because I looked it up. I mean, granted, she hasn't taken many, but why not put her out there on the floor when the other girls are having trouble hitting their threes and see if she can nail one? Like when we were 3 points down, with about 30 seconds left or something like that, or 20 seconds left. I thought, let's just go down and let's put Aaliyah in, have her pump a three up. She'll probably make it. And then, we got the game tied up, and then we can kind of figure out from there. But here we had a chance to win the game, and Lucy gets her patented little shot that she usually takes. And I don't know why that shot was so far off the mark on that one, because that's Lucy's shot, and she really wasn't contested. They wanted to make sure they didn't foul her.
Yeah, she had her normal shot. But I agree with that right there I don't understand the coaching perspective of it. And I mean, again, we don't know because we're not in the heat of the moment, right? So you make different decisions when you're in the heat of the moment. But and it's easy to be doing it from behind the screen, just saying. It's really easy to do that. I would have had Lucy Guyton and Stremlo in there because Stremlo can drive and dish out. Lucy can drive and dish out to Guyton.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, shoot, throw McCabe in there too. Like if you're looking like we need something, and just put one big girl inside, because we were doing that earlier in the year. We had one big girl inside, and they were just running around that one big girl. Like,
yeah,
we have it to do it. I'm just wondering. I don't know. It's hard to know how coaches are thinking. I know Jan knows exactly what to do, so I'm not faulting her for any of it. It's probably just, how is it flowing yet? Like they haven't been able to see these guys. I mean, practice is completely different than game time, right?
Right.
But like you said, that seems like a no-brainer when you got an 80% free throws or 3-point shooter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why not press your luck? But they did say something in the announcements. The announcer said something about Guyton they didn't say like why, but she has a certain amount of minutes that she can play because of her knee injury.
And I heard that, and they're saying they're not really saying how much or anything. I heard that, but I thought when she first came back and they asked Jan about it, I thought she said she was back full-time unlimited.
Yeah, because I thought released is released. Like,
yeah, so
you're not going to release somebody for a few minutes
from swelling up or something. But she didn't play that much today anyway, so she's played more minutes than that, and they could have had her in there at the end of the game. But maybe Jan just felt better with Lucy and some of the veterans in there.
I don't know. I couldn't even tell you. Like, I'm trying to think. Like, I'm trying to okay, let me put myself as a coach on the floor. And let me see what my thought process is.
I don't want to second guess Jan because she's been doing this for so many years, but But Addie O'Grady struggled today.
She did. She really did. I mean, and
You
they
know?
struggled. They all struggled from the free throw line too. Like, there's
Yeah,
really
they
no
do.
reason they should have been where they were at. Like, if you're hitting your free throws, like you hit your free throws, like it's a totally different game. Like, it's what going. It could be going. We could be up by 15 in the fourth quarter,
Right.
20 in the fourth quarter,
Hmm.
easily with the free throws. Do you have the free throw percentage? I mean, I didn't even look it up, but
Um, I can get
what
it
we
for you. It'll only take me a second.
what we shot, you know, for it's, I mean, I believe so that it would have been a lot different. But they're going to press us now. They are going to press Iowa.
And that leads me to believe, because I thought the same thing. Because that's one of my questions to you. Do you think we're going to see a lot more presses than teams that normally don't do pressing?
Yes, they're
Okay.
going to throw the full court press on us until we break it and score on them. They will continue. They'll continue to do it until you show them that you can break the press. Just like everybody in the beginning, like towards the end in the tournament, was going to double team Caitlin. They're going to jump. They're going to run and jump Caitlin until everybody else proved that they could score. And once the other players were like, "We're going to score on you if you do that," they will throw it at you until you prove they can break it. And I know for sure Jan is saying that in the locker room and in practice. If we don't learn how to break these presses, it's going to keep coming at us.
Yeah. And here's a question too. I realize that's not Jan, or even Lisa Bluter ball, not to press. But are these girls capable of pressing if they have to, or even
It,
put on a semi press to kind of slow the other team
yeah,
down?
yeah. I don't know why they don't go back and run. And we ran it was called a 55 where you had the post player on the ball.
Hmm.
So you'd have the post player on the ball as you took the ball out. So you could put like a sulky on the ball. And then you had a 3 guard front that would do a run and jump with the post player. I mean, I remember they were doing that maybe a couple years ago. Um, and they did get some steals. But yeah, you're not seeing that. And you're seeing what, man-to-man defense and maybe a zone here or there. I don't know if it's because they're getting in foul trouble, so she's trying to keep them out of foul trouble. Because you got to think of that too, because once you get out in that press, that they have a tendency to reach and reach and go for the steal, and that gets us in foul trouble. But
Yeah. All right. I just brought up some of the stats real quick.
yeah,
Um, I'm just trying to get what the percentages are here.
I know. I should be
Uh,
looking at it. Should have my other.
Iowa led most of the game according to this.
They did. I know. I know. That's why I
Okay.
was just so
I don't
irritated.
have the percentage, but we shot for the free throw line 19 of 26 from the free throw line. Got a calculator there. You can figure out the percentage.
Yeah, but still,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
when we were like missing those free throws. Like, they're crucial. You
Yeah. At the
know.
crucial time.
Yeah.
Stokey was 10 for 14. And honestly, for her, that's not that bad.
That's not bad. Like, I thought it was worse than that. But again, it's just when she was missing the free throw. Like,
Hmm.
she missed
Yeah.
an and one. Like, we need those and ones to go down.
Well, this is going to surprise you. O'Grady was 2 for 2. O'Falter was 2 for 2. McKay was, no, Olsen was 2 for 2. So the only other person to miss free throws was Ava Hayden. She was 3 for 6. So she was a 50% shooter.
I mean, it just must have been when it was, because it just seems so
Yeah.
like,
It
really?
seemed
Come
worse than it
on.
really was, didn't it?
Yeah, it really did. I think it
Okay.
was because of the point in time when the free throws were being missed. Because at the
Mhm.
we would go and get an end one, they would hit a three, and we come down and get an end one and only get two and not make that three. So
Mhm.
it, like, we weren't trading baskets for baskets.
Yeah. Well, and I don't think we can blame our 3-point shooting and our free throws on
Mm-mm.
this loss, because they were
No.
actually worse than we were. They were 6
Yeah.
for 19 on the 3-point line and 16 for 27 on the free throw line. So they were even worse than we were. So we weren't really that bad when you consider it.
We just stopped scoring.
We just stopped scoring. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is
Like,
we went cold.
literally,
We went cold for about the last 8 minutes of the game, and that's
can't
when
do
the
that.
game turned. And
Yeah.
so you could just see it, because
Yep.
I think at the point the game started to turn is we were having a hard time inbounding the ball.
Yep.
And every time we inbound it, we'd lose it. And I mean, 23 turnovers, that's not, you can't do that.
No.
I mean, they went from 30 turnovers in Tennessee to 23 here. So we
It
know
needs to
that
be
we don't have a lot
15.
of ball handlers.
No, it needs to be 15 at the most. Like you can't get up in the 20s with your turnovers and win games and not score for 9 minutes. Like you can't do that. Like then
Right.
you better trade basket for basket, you know. So again, I just chalk it up to being young.
Mhm.
And
I
trying
don't
to
know
figure.
about being young because our starters are juniors and seniors mainly.
Well,
Um,
and
you
trying
know,
to figure things out without major players. I mean, without, because they were starters, but they were starters with, you know,
Caitlin.
you're a starter with Caitlin, you're a starter with Gabby, you're a starter with Kate Martin. That's
Mm,
completely different, right?
it is. It's
Because you're
different, and I mean, even Sid has even commented on how different it is to on what she has to do and where she needs to be because she got used to Caitlin and knew where Caitlin would put the ball, so she knew where to go.
yeah.
She knew where to
Oh
go to
yeah.
get the ball.
Yeah.
You know.
So they got to figure out how to be their own stars, bring their own game, like because they all have it. It's almost like they're like, oh, I'm not gonna, I need to get that ball to somebody else because they were used to getting that ball to somebody else. Think about that, right?
Hmm.
So they're reversing the ball because they know they're reversing the ball to hit Caitlin on the
Hmm.
weak side, or
Yeah.
they're reversing the ball to hit Caitlin, and Caitlin's gonna hit Sulky on the inside,
Right.
right?
Hmm.
So they got to get used to understanding that now they may be the one that needs to do that scoring, or may need to be the one that does that drive and that dish off, right? Because they were
Yeah.
the ones that could just kind of back in and then step out and just wait for the ball to hit that shot. Because you
Yeah.
notice those threes they're taking aren't the same as they were taking them last year either.
No.
You
No.
know?
But and it's funny because I would guess that our 3 point shooting has got a higher percentage this year because Caitlin would take so many. you know,
Yeah.
and my wife was just asking me today what her percentage was, and I go, unbelievably, I still think she was shooting around 30%.
Hmm. No,
On the
yeah. Like 32 or 31% or something like that. It's still
yeah,
up in the 30s. Yeah.
yeah,
Which is crazy. She'd have a silent 35 points or a silent 25 points, and you'd be like, man, she had a bad game. It's like, I wish I had a bad game and got 25.
yeah. I'm
Just
going.
saying.
Okay, I'm just looking real quick. Um, I got to run a commercial real quick, so we're gonna do
Okay.
that.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Tonight we're on our border, we stick to the pen. Chaos and disorder, play them like a violin. I feel the fever rising, what a joy to see your hands. If you got something to say to me, so come on, here I stand. I start to shiver when it's out of control.
Yeah,
Cool.
that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I'm starting to learn to like these bells and whistles as soon as I get it all figured out more comfortably and get some of my other stuff up here for graphics and stuff.
Be like, okay, it's now
Uh,
time for our commercial break.
yeah. And we're gonna have, if with any luck, I'm gonna be able to talk my niece into sponsoring too, and we'll get her a commercial made and play hers too.
That's cool.
So, but anyhow, okay, where were we at? I'm sorry.
Talking about how what their 3-point percentage was, and just kind of talking about how they need to learn themselves. They're gonna have to learn how they need to play without, the Caitlin Clark,
Right.
without the Gabby
Yeah.
Marshall, without the Kate Martin. We need somebody to really take charge. Lucy hasn't even really started doing that yet.
No. And maybe I hate to say this, and I know they have a lot of fun doing it, but maybe they ought to spend a little more less time on TikTok and a little more time
I
shooting
agree.
their threes and
I
and
saw
learning.
I saw some tired eyes. I did. I saw some tired eyes today.
Yeah, I
It
saw
looked
some tired legs. I think
it
that's
looked like
the same thing.
it literally looked like screen eyes to me. I'm just letting you know. I've seen it before on my son. I've been up on TikTok or on my phone too long last night. And that Michigan trip, that's a trip. That's a tough one. That's a tough
Is
road
it?
trip.
Okay.
Yeah. It just
It,
is. It's just long to get there. And we used to play Michigan State on that weekend. Like we
Mhm,
would go and play like Michigan on Saturday or yeah, on Friday, Saturday, and then on no, we play Friday Michigan and then on Sunday we play Michigan State.
mhm.
It was rough.
Yeah. Now, back in the day when it was just the original, I would call the legacy Big Ten teams.
Yes.
Um, they just did that. Every team had a traveling partner, and you would,
Mhm.
if you traveled, you would hit the like
Yep.
teams on,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, like and when we played Minnesota, we would just play Minnesota,
because
right?
that was your traveling partner.
Yep. Yeah. So, and we would usually bus up to Minnesota. We
Hmm.
just take a bus and go.
Yeah, I remember
Um,
Lute Olson used to scream and yell and complain that Northwestern was his traveling partner, and he says it was tough to beat teams because they didn't have to work very hard to beat Northwestern. So he wanted a tougher road partner.
whatever, right?
Us back, back in the day,
Yeah, I know. But yeah,
Northwestern didn't get much respect from anywhere.
it's a long road trip and it's tough. And then I know they had some ice up there. They had ice in Des Moines, and I mean it's just it starts to wear on you. I could just see it on their face, and they cannot that extra stuff that I know hey, it is what it is now, but doing your work and your homework and staying in school, and then you got this TikTok accounts and they might be getting money for it now, and
Hmm.
it's just a lot.
It is. They do have a lot going on, and I just kept thinking about that. Is the one thing I could say for sure is last year you didn't see Caitlin Clark out there on doing TikTok dances and doing TikTok makeup reviews
No, no, she
and stuff
stopped
like that.
it.
And not that I'm blaming it, but
Mm-mm.
it just seems like maybe these girls could spend a little more time in the gym. Maybe I'm wrong because
Well,
like I said,
I don't know. I don't know their routine, but I know it can be a distraction for sure. I mean, because as a coach now, even in softball with my girls, I mean, it can be a distraction. So you have to learn to make it a way that it is part of what they do, and it's okay to do it at this time, but now we got to shut it down.
mhm,
Like you gotta shut that down. Like we can't have
yeah,
that on the bus. We can't have that. Like I understand you want people to see, right? They want to see and be part of our lives, and
mhm.
that's the way they can be part of it. But like there comes a time and a place where you gotta shut it down so you can dial in.
Yeah, so you can
Because
get
there's so
right.
many distractions.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
many.
there's a lot of distractions, especially with Iowa women's basketball. I don't think there's near the distraction with the men because I don't think the men get the following like the women.
No,
How
no,
many schools can say that the women outdraw the men?
no,
Not many.
no, no. Maybe South Carolina, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well, South Carolina, I don't know about their men's team. I would say
I don't either.
Connecticut might be even for both because they're both
They're
highly
even,
ranked.
yeah, for sure, even. Yeah, and Connecticut fell. Didn't they lose to somebody? And they kind
They
of,
lost, but I don't know who they lost to.
oh yeah. And I don't think it was a very good. It wasn't good that they lost. It didn't look good because they're supposed to be the team, right?
They were ranked number
So,
no,
it
won't be
didn't
when the
look
new
good.
poll comes out.
It
Okay, I
did
just wanted
not
to go
look
over
good.
real quick because we've got Northern Iowa coming up
Yeah.
on the 20th, which is next Friday. So
Yep.
they basically have the rest of this week to recoup, and I suppose they have finals this week, or have they done that already?
I don't know. I know we have a finals week for high school, but I don't know how their semester runs. I'm not
Oh, hey,
sure.
yeah. Oh, we got the Gamecock fans on here loving Don
Mhm.
Staley.
That's right. You gotta love her. She's
Yeah,
got that.
he's
She's
brought
got
you
that
some. He's
Iowa
brought you some
connection.
wins.
Yeah, she's got that Iowa connection with her assistant coach. So we're gonna keep
Mhm.
her in the family.
Yeah, there you go. No, So anyway, I was just speaking of the high school finals.
Mhm.
My grandson, he was in high school. He's a freshman in high school in Oklahoma, and they have ducks in their backyard. Somehow, one of the ducks got over the fence. So he went out to try to rescue it and get it back inside the fence, and somehow he fell into the fence and cut up both legs really bad. Okay, this was before school on Friday, but he's trying to maintain his perfect attendance because they can, if they don't miss more than 2 days of school
Yep.
during a semester, he
They can
doesn't have to
exempt.
take the finals.
Yeah, he can
He gets an
exempt his
extra day of
finals.
vacation.
Yes, he can exempt finals. We have that too.
Do you?
Isn't that crazy?
It is. I'd never heard of that before.
Oh, look at there. What you got on there now? Stats or something on the screen?
Yeah, he brought up the stats for me.
Oh, cool. I like it.
Yeah.
It's too small for me. I got to put it up on a bigger screen. I'm on my phone, so I need to get my computer up so that I can see it.
Well, it looks like Andrew is playing producer for us right now, trying to help me out a little bit.
I like it.
Yeah, but anyway, I just want to go over these games real quick.
Okay.
So we got the Northern Iowa next Friday.
Yeah.
And then they get 9 days off before they meet Purdue in Iowa City. Then they travel on January 1st, New Year's Day, to Penn State.
Oh boy, that's another hard trip. Penn State's a
Yeah,
hard one.
I've heard
too.
that. I've never been there, but my daughter actually did it for a tumbling, acro and
hard.
tumbling nationals that her daughter was involved in, and she said that was the hardest trip she's ever taken.
Yeah, that's a rough one. It
Yeah, I
really
think she
is.
said you practically land in another state, then you drive there.
Yes, yes. And we had to do it in a snowstorm when we played them.
Oh,
and
really?
we were up in the air, and it was a snowstorm, and they're like, lights are out where we're gonna land. We got to divert and go somewhere else. And I literally was like, we are not gonna make it. We made it. We got on a bus. We got to the hotel at 2 a.m. All they had were candles and stuff up for us to get us to where we needed to go in our hotel room.
Because the power was out.
Yes, we went to sleep and woke up and we're like, what is going on? And they actually had cold cereal and food, like cold food for us, because they were like, that's all we can give you.
Yeah.
Oh, it was just crazy.
Wow, that is crazy. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. The game that you're planning on going to is Maryland, and that's on the 5th.
Oh, that would be super cool to go see. What's her name? Why'd I forget right now? Brenda Freeze.
Yep.
And be like, I know you.
Job with that team.
Yeah, I'd be like, I know you saw that photo on Facebook where I was blocking your shot, because I was blocking your shot, Brenda. I know I was. So.
Yeah, she says you didn't block it.
I know, but that's not true. I did. I totally took that shot out. But I would love to go down.
We should have put that picture up on our graphics.
We should have, because she might come on here. Hey, if you do that, she might get on here and be like, what's going on? She'd be like, that's a lie. That's a lie.
Yeah. Well, then we got then on the 9th of January, after we travel to Illinois. That's going to be a tough game, but I think that's a winnable game. I'm not sure about Maryland yet, if that's a winnable game yet or not.
I don't know either. Like, I don't know, because if they put the pressure on,
and Maryland would be the team to do it.
And they will. And they see, here's the thing. People are coming out now for blood for Iowa because of all the stuff that went on last year. So they're out to kill us. They are out to kill Iowa. They really are.
Yeah. Yeah. I honestly don't see us. I hate to say it, but higher than 6th or 7th in the league. That's where I'm at right now.
Well, I kind of agree, because you run up against USC, UCLA. You've already lost to Michigan State. Let's just think about those things, right? Like, you don't look at
already
Michigan
down 0-1 in the Big Ten.
Yeah, you don't look at Michigan State as a higher team than you, and they had them ranked higher than us when we went into that game.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they were ranked 17th now. Yeah.
Right.
Michigan State, I mean, all of a sudden they're a team that came out of nowhere.
State? I know. It's like, what?
But yeah, and I knew they were a better team than they were last year. And when I saw how we finished against them last year in the 2 games we played them, I said, this is going to be a tough game to win.
Yeah. And on the road?
Yeah, on the road, yeah. But, their fans didn't seem to be in it. They seemed to be pretty quiet most of the time.
Yeah, it made it kind of boring. I was like, where are the fans? Like,
every time, you could hear them cheering, But boy, if that had been Carver under the same circumstances, it would have been deafening.
It would have been so loud.
Yeah.
And they seemed pretty packed though. I mean, it wasn't like they didn't have people in the stands.
Mm-hmm.
They just
Oh, they got Indiana on the 12th and Nebraska at home on the 16th, and then they travel to Oregon on the 19th of January.
Okay.
Now, this is what I like. Okay, but that's probably more days than they should have. But the 19th they're at Oregon, and the 22nd they're at Washington.
Wow.
And so,
okay, yeah, because they're gonna stay out there, and they're gonna play Oregon and Washington, and then are USC and UCLA traveling to us?
yes, they are.
Okay.
But I would have thought it would have been on back-to-back games, but it's not. So I would have thought they would have done them a favor too, kind of partner them up, and you know what I mean?
Yeah. Or well, then probably next year they'll go out and play USC, UCLA.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'll go to both games.
I know you are. That'll be great.
Hopefully we get them later in the season so I don't have to go over a mountain with snow.
Right?
We have a mountain between us and Los Angeles, and it can get pretty snowy in the winter on that thing, and they'll shut it down because people don't know how to drive. And so,
yeah.
I missed in 2019. I missed our game at the Holiday Bowl because they closed all the highways going through Los Angeles to San Diego over the mountain passes because we had a major snowstorm and people were just sitting, and we were debating, do we go and sit and see if they'll open it up for us, or do we go around? And we took the longest possible way to get around, and we were still 3 hours from San Diego when we at kickoff time. So we just found a place to go watch it, and never made it to the game. Tried to quickly sell my tickets online, but it didn't work. Yeah.
Yeah, that happens. This gets pretty.
So USC comes on February 2nd.
Mm-hmm.
Nebraska is the only team we play twice.
Okay.
Home and home.
Okay.
And then UCLA is on February 23rd.
Okay.
And then on February 28th, Michigan at Michigan. That's going to be a tough game too.
Yeah.
You know.
Is it Ohio State after that?
No, Ohio State comes on February 17th on the road. Wow. The only time we play them. You know, it's funny. We get both Michigan and Ohio State on the road.
Yep.
But I mean, I guess they got it balanced. I'm not saying that that it's unbalanced schedule as far as our traveling on the big boys or the big girls, I should say.
Yeah.
But anyway, I do kind of want to preview that UNI game that's going to be next Friday a little bit. I kind of went ahead and went and sneak a peek, but let's go and do one more commercial.
Okay.
Let's do that real quick.
Now into the commercial break.
Yeah. And we're back.
All right.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool. So, is there anything else you want to talk about the Michigan State game that we could have done different?
I think we could have ran them more than we did. I really do. I think we could have pushed the ball up the floor more than we did because I just don't think they could have stayed with us. Yeah.
Did it seem to you like we just instead of flowing and moving around with the ball that we'd always get one person going down there and dribbling into high traffic, and then 2 or 3 people would just converge on them?
Yep. And then they just
do anything with. They would stop right in the middle of all that.
Look for the pass. Look for the pass. Yeah.
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 It was at its best when they're moving without the ball, and they didn't seem to do a lot of that today.
Yeah, they needed to do if you're going to run the fast break, and they know this, you run the fast break, you drive into that lane, you don't have that, you pull that ball out, and then you let your trailers come. Instead, we stop right where the trailer's supposed to go. So now your post players are on the backside of you, and it's all jumbled up, and everybody's trying to run around so they can get you the ball. So it was just, and that's like silly because they're college players. They're better than that. So it didn't really. It was almost like we were out of their game, and they were, even though we were winning most of the game, which is insane. But it was almost like we were playing their game. We were playing Michigan's game. We weren't playing our game.
Yeah.
Playing Iowa basketball.
Well, and that's just it. The team that can get you to play their own game will usually win, right?
Eventually, they will knock it down and get you. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly, I'll be honest. And I think I said this to you. I didn't think we were going to win the game originally, but when we were in the fourth quarter, up by 9 with a chance to go up by 11, and then we turned the ball over. I thought we had that game at that point. I thought there's just no way we turned it over, but there's just no way they're going to come back. And then all of a sudden, right before my eyes, I'm watching the team fall apart, literally fall apart.
Just two. One basket after the other, one turnover after the other. Very crucial turnovers.
Yeah.
Like, it's just at a crucial time. Like,
And I think that last 8 minutes, they must have got like 8 turnovers, because I asked somebody on a group chat how many turnovers Iowa had. And I think they said at that point they had 15, but they ended up with 23.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm thinking they must have had like 8 turnovers in that last 8 minutes of the game.
Yeah, it was at the end of the game. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've got, because, okay, we're going into the UNI game, right? UNI Iowa is just like an Iowa State or a Drake, right? We got University of Northern Iowa. University of Northern Iowa would give anything to beat the Hawkeyes.
Mm-hmm.
Just like they would give anything to beat the Cyclones. Just like they'd give anything to beat Drake. It just is what it is. It's an interstate.
It's all about bragging rights.
Yeah, it's an interstate thing. So they're going to come for blood. They are coming for blood.
And maybe some of those girls feel slighted by Iowa and Iowa State.
Didn't get recruited.
We're good enough to play for you. Why didn't you offer us?
I'm going to show you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I know that it's not going to be easy, but UNI has already proved that they can beat Iowa State.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Did they beat Iowa at one point in time back in the day?
I think they did.
Or was that? I know I saw them beat Kansas one time. That was crazy. Men's basketball. I watched UNI beat Kansas, and I was hooping and hollering on that one. Just letting you know. They had some shooters. I'm like, ooh.
Back in 1980, 81, when my wife and I first got married, she was still a student at UNI, and we lived in the married student housing. And because she'd have class all the time, I just go and get a ticket to the basketball games, which are still played in the Uni Dome at the time. They didn't have McLeod Center. And I go,
what? It's called what?
McLeod Center is where they play basketball.
I don't even know about that. Isn't that crazy? I only know about the Unidome.
Yeah. Well, that's just true. I mean, I left Cedar Falls. I used to live in Cedar Falls. I left for years. I came back and they had a McLeod Center. They were no longer playing games in the Unidome.
That's crazy.
But it's crazy to watch a game in the basketball game in the Unidome. But anyhow, I did watch them the first year we were married. I went and I watched them beat Kansas, the men. Not the women, but the men beat Kansas, and then I think the next year they beat Wisconsin on their home court. And I guess those days they must have been all right with big boys traveling to smaller schools, because they won't do it now.
No, they only meet them in the tournament.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's going to be an interesting game. It can go either way. They come in and they turn the ball over and they don't play their defense and they don't play Iowa basketball. It can go either way. It'll be a tough. They'll struggle. It'll be tough, right? They got to come in and play.
Yeah. Well, I've got it. They're currently at 5-5. They do have a huge win over Iowa State, as everybody knows.
Yeah.
They have a win over Pitt. They beat them pretty handily, 90-76.
Okay.
But they've lost to South Dakota State. They lost to Creighton. They lost to Kansas. They lost to Auburn. But all of those were within one score. All those losses except South Dakota State.
How they do Auburn? What was the score against Auburn?
It was 65-64.
It's going to be tough.
And the Kansas was 76-73.
And what about Creighton?
Creighton was 75-71.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
Oh, I can see that. I can
Yeah,
see
it's going
that
to be
it's gonna
tough because Auburn, they're no joke. You've seen Auburn women play; they are not a joke.
no.
No, they're in your face. Like
Yeah, I think
they
UNI
go
just had a
at
tough
you.
schedule. I think that they just
They
had
have a great schedule. Look at that.
that's
Right,
tough.
5-5.
Yeah, 5 and
Yeah.
5. So, but anyway, it looks like their leading scorer is Maya McDermott. I
Okay.
don't not know if she's related to the Greg McDermott that coaches at Creighton. Yeah, but she shoots at a clip a field goal 48%, 46% at the from the 3-point line, a 92% free throw shooter, 21 or actually basically 30 points a game. I mean, I'm sorry, 22 points a game.
It's great.
Yeah, she has 12 steals and 49 assists. So
Oh,
she
that's
must be their point guard.
yeah, it's great. Yeah, it's good to
Yeah.
hear. Like, do you know where she's from?
No, they didn't say that.
They need to tell us where these girls are from, right?
Yeah. And then number 24 is Keba Lambu. Labi?
Labu, she must be from France.
Yeah. However, she's very good.
Well, okay, so
She's shooting 50% of her field goal range, 52% of her 3-point shots, 93% at the free throw line, but she averages 14 points a game, 14 assists though, and 7 steals. So she's also. It seems to me like they've got to be a type of team that is pressing too. They must be pressing because it just seems like those are kind of numbers that you would think would come off a press.
Yeah, and a run and gun team.
Yeah.
Then they're coming in and penetrating and dishing out and hitting threes and running the break and
yeah.
they
got
to
be. I
your
think
face.
Riley Coble,
okay,
number 5. She's got to be the center. She's shooting at 64%, but 0 from the 3-point line and 53% at the free throw line. That sounds like center numbers.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, for sure.
And she averages 6 rebounds a game. She has 18 assists though. But get this, she has 25 block shots and 28 steals.
It's a big old girl.
Yeah. Yeah. That's going to be tough. That's going to be tough. I thought first when I saw 5-5, Iowa shouldn't have any trouble with this team, but
no. And then you look at who they played, and you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah, and how close the scores were.
Yeah,
it's not like they were. It's not like they were blown out. They weren't.
No.
Iowa will probably need everything they've got in this game, and hopefully
they will.
Got time.
They better bring their best game. They got to bring their A game.
Yeah, and I think they know that. I mean, I think Jan's smart enough to know that they can't take UNI for granted.
Absolutely.
She just has to make sure the players don't take them for granted.
And that's sometimes tough, because you're dealing with a young group. I mean, it's just tough. In age-wise, I mean, there were times where, we would be going in playing. I remember it was Southwest Missouri State, and we're going in to play Southwest Missouri State in the championship. We're in a tournament game. It was to go to the Final Four. Maybe we miss it by one game. And we just overlooked them. Like, we were already talking about what we were going to do after the game. We were going to go to this party after the game, and we were going to win this game for sure. And then we're moving on, and they came in and just beat the hee-haw out of us.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, now we're going to a different kind of party. It's not one we all like to go to, but we're going anyway. And we're going to sit home for spring break because we overlooked them. Southwest Missouri State. Man.
Yeah, you don't want to do that, do you?
No, because you can't get it back. Like, people don't understand. Like, you get the football playoffs, right? And they get to go, like, they lose a game now and they're not done. They get to keep going and playing, right? We lose a game and we're done. There's no you get to go to another bracket and come back in and play again. No, you're done. Like, your whole year is done. Like, all that work you did for those 30-some games and that one little whatever it was, it's over. And just go sit down.
Stay focused, play hard.
Yeah.
By the way, College Sports Villains, our network, says that right now we have over 200 viewers. I wish that some of them would comment, ask some questions. Hi, 200 viewers. We appreciate you watching. Thank you. We appreciate that.
How awesome are y'all?
In case you guys for those of you who don't know, I will introduce Molly Tide back here. She is a former player at the University of Iowa back in the Vivian Stringer days.
Yep.
Did make a Final Four trip with Vivian, and she knows some players and she knows some coaches, and she gets around. We're gonna use her. We're gonna use her to get some famous people on here, guys.
Yeah, we're gonna try. We're gonna shout out to University of Georgia. Hey, Katie Abe, come on the show.
Yeah.
Somebody get Katie Abrahamson out here. Tia Jackson, come on, girl from Duke.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe we can get Jolette Law from South Carolina. My old point guard
would be good.
Yeah. Get her to talk about her time.
Say Maryland. Do a Maryland. Bring her on.
Yeah, look, man, I gotta talk to Brenda. I gotta talk to Brenda. Be like, look, come on after the show. We'll tell her we're like, even if you win and you can come in and have some bragging rights, we'll let you come on and talk. See what happens.
By the way, College Sports Villains, the person who runs this network or owns this network, he is a South Carolina fan, and he said he'd bring him in and we could blow up this page.
Yeah, I know, right? And I love it too. He has to understand that there is still a connection between South Carolina and Iowa. There really is. Like, there's no love lost there. I mean, we fought against each other on the court, but when you got Jolette Law and then you've got, Dawn Staley sitting there, and Dawn Staley, one of her mentors was Vivian Stringer. I mean, there's just, we understand like that is an amazing thing, and that's why both teams are just as good as they are, because you take from each other and you take that love and you take that determination. I mean, and Dawn Staley has just perfected it. I mean, come on.
Did she get her start under Vivian?
No, I don't. Mentor? No, but I do know that she somehow had some mentorships with her. Like, just kind of, maybe, I don't know if she had contact through Jolette or contact through other players or something, but or even another assistant that she had. But she did look up to Coach Stringer, and who wouldn't? I mean, amazing coach, amazing coach. So
she's still loved and honored in Iowa City.
Absolutely, and that's great. Even though she left, she is still loved there. They absolutely adore her.
Yeah, it's just kind of sad because her husband had passed away, and I think she just lonely to go back east and be with a support system that was more support back there, like family support.
I think so, and I think she also had said that she would, because we would sit there on our bench, right, and across the bench, like right in that seat, Bill would always sit. He would sit in the same seat with their daughter. And, there was times where she would just say, I look across there and he's not there anymore. And that's just really hard for her to see.
That would be when you're used to seeing him there all the time.
We all were, like, where is he? Like, and no one sat in that seat anymore. Like, they just didn't, because that was Bill's seat. So, yeah.
I think George Raveling was there at the school about the same time, but he lasted 3 years because I think he said he left because there weren't enough black women in Iowa City to date. I believe those were his words, so I don't think I'm being racist when I say that.
No, you weren't. I can say the majority of them were on our basketball team, but yes, he's right. And they were all spoken for, so.
True. Yeah. Well, I think we're starting to run out of some things, so this might be a good time to pull the plug on it for tonight. And so I want to thank you again. I want to thank everybody out there. If you're watching, please subscribe to the podcast. Please like it. Do the like, do the share. Let's have some fun with it. And we could have a lot of fun later on in the season when we get to the tournament if we run into South Carolina again.
For sure. For sure.
3 years in a row if we did that.
Oh my gosh, for sure. It might be a different story this time, but for sure.
We're 1-1 against them in the last 2 previous years. Just keep that in mind.
I know. That last one was amazing.
Yeah, I'm going to hit the outro. I appreciate everybody being here. Please come back for future shows. And we'll just keep watching, and we'll let you know when the next show is. Take care, everybody.
Yep, bye.
I will never be free now, my baby, no, no.